Now, part 2 of a powerful drama, Trial and Retribution, which focuses on the aftermath of a child abduction. Some viewers may find certain scenes disturbing.
Julianne Harris is only 5 years old. She was last seen at between 12:30 and 1 o'clock this afternoon. Mr. Dunn? Michael Dunn?
Mrs. Harris, have you seen this doll before?
Yes, it's a doll. It is neater, isn't it? She always had it with her.
That's him! Look! Look!
Oi!
There's a piece of red and blue nylon rope ligated round her neck.
Labs have just found a length of blue and red washing line in Michael Dunn's bin.
Michael Dunn, I'm charging you with the murder of Julianne Harris.
I'm innocent. I didn't do it.
Are you telling me it won't go to trial?
As special casework representative, I'm under a statutory duty to enter a discontinuance if there's no reasonable prospect of securing a conviction. And I feel these circumstances come close to falling into that category. What you've got is as thin as paint, Detective Superintendent.
Are you serious?
Facts are you haven't established he harmed her in any way.
Mr. Griffith, Michael Dunn is a known drunk. He hasn't washed either himself or his clothes for months. Do you think any jury is going to believe that he went to the trouble of stealing a washing line just because he had a lot of laundry to hang up? What if he was practicing for the offense?
You can't prove he stole that rope. And there's no mechanical fit on the end.
But what if he cut the rope twice? That would explain why the ends don't fit.
Mr. Griffith, I wouldn't be pushing this so much if the type of rope were not the same, not similar, identical.
We'll solicit an opinion from Treasury Counsel.
What about the statement from Mrs. Gillingham?
Well, what page is that on?
Page 24, Mr. Griffith.
Oh, yes, the foster carer. Well, it's hearsay from the mother. You'll have to get statements from the Gillingham girls that Dunn molested them. The only way we'll get into evidence is under the similar facts rule. It's going to have to be very close to what was done to Julianne. Same age bracket, and use of some sort of instrument.
Well, we don't know what they're going to say until they say it, do we?
No, Detective Inspector, we do not, so let's not waste any more time. Next, your identifying witness, Mrs. Enid Marsh.
Mrs. Enid Marsh says she doesn't know you, Michael. Is that true? You must pay attention, Michael. I'm trying to take your proof of evidence.
She saw me when I did the paper round.
When exactly did you do these paper rounds, Michael?
Can't remember. Summer, I think. Not last year, the one before.
And how many times did she see you?
Well, a good few times on the doorstep, you know, in the morning.
But did you talk to her at all? Say good morning?
No.
Good.
I've remembered something else. Terry Smith, bloke I was with. He might have gone home. Wales, where I come from.
Seems to be all coming back to you today, Michael, doesn't it? Makes it much easier for me to do the best job I can.
I'm doing all right then.
Yes. I've got to go now. But I'll see you again tomorrow.
You've got lovely eyes. You're a very pretty woman.
Thank you, Michael. Is there anything you need?
No. Thank you very much.
Epithelial cells from the little girl's mouth found in samples taken from the lolly sticks. And 2, one of her hairs recovered from the suspect's carpet.
Just one, right?
Just the one. No question it's hers. And 3 fibres. Blue and red cotton polyester mix. Recovered from the couch, consistent with the anorak. But as common as muck. Some bugger's pinched all the forks again. And also, bottle green acrylic, consistent with the skirt. Also common. It's the combination that makes it evidence. Pass me a cake.
No blood transfer.
No.
Did you get anything on his clothes?
Just his own blood. Oh, and the doll. I'm sorry, but the fingerprint boys found nothing belonging to the little girl. Just smudges. Must have been wiped.
Nothing on the bottles.
No, just his fingerprints. If he abused Our Lady with a bottle, we have no evidence.
Has the garbo of the criminal classes come in yet?
Come in, gone out. Wormwood Scrums. Ah, here she is. Has she elegance?
Has she fragrance?
And that reek of cheap scent, I mean that elusive hint of fragrance, mean that we have been perhaps on the central line?
Right first time.
No, don't prompt me, Watson. Let me divine by scent the station at which the lady alighted. Being Shepherd's Bush?
White City?
No, Acton. Ode to Wormwood. Turn left for the Scrubs.
Notorious beastman keeping well?
As a matter of fact, Mr. Dunn's not as brain dead as I thought.
I bet he likes your perfume. Must make a change from the persistent stench of urine that pervades HM's establishments. I'll have those right back to
No,
you.
you can't take that.
Belinda. Affidavits drafted, Stephen?
I think so, yes.
I think she's just lost her beastman.
Dunn's case will have a significance for the firm, but we must also consider what is fair to you, Belinda. Now, there will be considerable professional interest, and the media ready to seize on the smallest error or irregularity into which inexperience might lead you.
I had thought I was managing reasonably well, Derek. Well, especially with your support and supervision. Was there anything in particular?
No, you've done very creditably. Oh, we'd be horrified to think that you read any hint of criticism in the decision that a partner should now act for Michael Dunn. So, if you could just bring the file in, we'll go through it together.
What's the story?
Short and sweet. Plug a roll on the door, DNA and the lolly stick all right, but sweet FA in his clothes.
Yeah, but they found her hair and fibres on the couch and floor.
They're not denying she was in the flat range, but it could have been 3 weeks or 3 months ago, waking up.
And what fibres did they get?
Anorak and skirt, bloody useless.
Well, could do her some good. I mean, she's hardly like to have walked in there 3 months later wearing the same clothes, is she?
Don't bet on it. Not a lot of money for clothes in that house.
Yeah, she's wearing the skirt in this photograph.
Okay. Pat, check with the mother when she got that good. Sorry, guys, but I'm off.
We haven't got a case, have we?
Don't let him hear you say that.
Solicitor for Michael Dunn.
I'm very satisfied with Miss Sinclair. I don't want anyone else.
Naturally, there's no move to exclude Miss Sinclair, Michael. Merely to secure to her the benefit of more seasoned...
Is it my fault? I don't want anyone else. I want Miss Sinclair. I don't want you. I don't like you. I want Miss Sinclair.
We'll support you fully from the wings. There's absolutely no question, obviously, of your being exposed to any risks of a professional kind.
Who's leading counsel on it?
I'd like Robert Rylands, if we can get him.
Rylands, wow. He's the best there is. It'd be fantastic to work with him.
I'm sure. So, I think it would be politic to get a junior out of the same chambers. Get him on board ASAP. Thanks.
Have you still got the case?
Yes, I have. Sadly, I don't think we'll need the impressive Mr. Rylands. I'm going to get it thrown out at committal. I think Michael Dunn's innocent.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes?
Are you the little girl's father? You don't know whether to say something or not. I left a few flowers.
Thanks. It's very kind of you.
Good news today, Michael. We've got your junior counsel on board, Mr. Sampera from Robert Ryland's chambers. Well, that means we might get Rylands himself if we go to trial. And he's a top-flight silk.
What about that other man? Mr. War. I didn't like him. He tried to get a deal.
Well, thanks to you, he didn't. I think there's a good possibility we could have this dismissed at committal. Well, that's the next hearing, Michael.
You think they'll throw it out?
Well, I don't want to raise your hopes too high, but that is our initial opinion.
You mean there'll be no trial?
We're waiting for their papers now.
That's wonderful.
Now, Gov reckon CPS are going to put the skids on us. No case. He's gone over to see prosecuting counsel, Willis Fletcher.
Well, maybe the Gillingham girls will have something for us. I'm on my way over there now.
Oh, good luck. We need it.
Anything on the anorak?
Mrs. Harris said she got it from a catalogue that we just faxed through now.
Purchased 22nd of August. It's no good to us.
Oh, God. A little girl's dead and she's still paying for her anorak.
Well, let's hope this Fletcher's prepared to stick his neck out for us.
Well, Superintendent, I've had a look through the committal papers. And, what's your view of this rope in his bin? It's just a piece of rope. I don't think it's evidence against him. I can't see why not. It's an identical type to the one round the girl's neck. And what else was he doing with it? Hanging up his smalls? The forensic evidence can place the child in Michael Dunn's flat, all right. But its value is reduced by the fact that Dunn doesn't deny that she visited the flat at other times. That's a card in defense counsel's hand. But a major card in ours is that he didn't say so in his first interview. According to the transcript, Dunn didn't reply when asked if he knew her, and said he didn't know whether he did or not.
R40 or either doll?
Yes. He lied about where he found it, became agitated, and admitted the lie the first time. But his solicitor got it all tuned up and running sweetly second time out.
What about the Gillinghams?
Indecent assault against 2 girls 13 years ago. Never reported, and it's only hearsay. Unless you have a development there.
They're being interviewed now.
Can I ask you for an overall view at this stage, Mr. Fletcher? Well, the forensic evidence may not be direct, but the cumulative weight of evidence is strong. I think it'll get past half-time.
So if you could just sign there. And then again at the bottom, just there. Thank you very much indeed, Madeline. Mrs. Gillingham? That's it, Madeline. You can go now. Now, I'm Detective Inspector North. You must be Catherine.
Do you want me to stay, Cathy? I'm perfectly capable of handling this, Mother.
Right, shall we sit down?
No, thanks, I'm fine.
What can you tell me about Michael Dunn?
I think it's been blown out of all proportion.
Are you sure you won't sit down? So how do you mean?
It was just affection. I wasn't scared of him. He was so funny. Always playing games.
What sort of games, Catherine?
Hide and seek.
Michael Dunn, you will be committed for trial by jury at the Central Criminal Court.
Dirty bastard.
Quiet, please, in the gallery.
Murdering bastard!
Please sit down in the gallery.
Murdering scum!
Quiet, quiet,
Bastard!
please, in the gallery.
Dirty
Please sit down in the gallery.
Hang him!
At what age to tell your father the facts of life? Him the cut man, me the doctor. Las Vegas was my idea. All his life he'd talked about it. Every time he'd hear the name, his eyes would light up. That weekend I told him, Dad, what you did, what you were, what you love, I hate it, Dad. It had all come out. And when it was over, I understood what he'd never told me. Who I am, what I am, it makes him proud.
I will give you the freedom to choose. I will make it as simple as ABC. I will save you money. I will promise you outstanding levels of service. And because, as Norweb, I already supply 2 million homes and businesses with gas and electricity, you can be sure I will never let you down. I am energy from Norweb, the future of gas and electricity supply in Britain.
So how did it all go? I'm afraid the board rejected your big idea. What do you mean? Calm down, John. They didn't like your idea. Better luck next time, mate. Something I said?
Thanks to its torsion beam suspension, the Rover 200 is the perfect car to unwind in.
I've had a better idea.
Who would I most like to have a one-to-one with? Tanya on checkout 21. I tell her about my new mobile phone. Up to you. You can buy one just as easily as buying your bananas. I use vouchers for my calls, and you're free because there are no bills or contracts to sign. Oh, if I could have a one-to-one with Tanya, I'd ask her out.
Up to you. The new pay-as-you-go mobile phone service.
What really overwhelms me when I take my lot shopping is their enthusiasm. At least somebody's pleased to help. I think I'm seeing things. And I thought it was me who could never resist a bargain.
With over 500 special offers every week in our price mission, you'll find more reasons to enjoy Morrison's. I can save you up to 22% off your current gas bill. Phone 0800 555 888 now.
Is that the committal bundle?
Yes, if you don't mind. I've had a look through this, and I understand you've been having some discussion about getting Dunn's case dismissed at committal.
I think we could argue there's no case to answer.
But all they've got to do at committal is show there is a case to answer. And I think they'll succeed. You won't get it thrown out, and you'll have very helpfully alerted the Crown to the weak points of their case.
Look, if we put a bit of effort in at committal, we might...
Work smarter, Belinda, not harder. Let it go through. We don't contest anything.
Well, who's prosecuting?
Looks like Willis Fletcher. And he's only cruiser class as regards my personal naval estimates. Robert Rylands is in a different league.
Have we got Rylands now?
He can't commit till we've got a trial date, but my informants tell me he's very interested.
I never saw that rope in any bin or anywhere else. It wasn't in my flat when I left before I got nicked, I'm telling you.
There's no doubt in your mind. Maybe one of your friends brought it in.
I'm telling you, I've never seen that rope in my life before. I've never touched it.
All right, Michael, sit down.
I'm sorry. For 1 minute, you're telling me my case is dismissed. The next minute, I've been sent up for hearing after hearing,
Michael,
and now...
listen to me. You are to stand trial. Do you know Anne Taylor?
Yes, I know her. I did some work for her, too. I've told you this before.
Yes, I know, Michael. Just be patient. How did you come to work for her?
She paid me to do some odd jobs around the house. I've told you this.
Yes. But just how well did you know her? Michael?
She wouldn't like this to get out. It just happened.
What happened?
I was clearing some stuff out for her mum. She died, you see. And Anne was very upset. We had a few drinks. She was crying and I put my arms around her. And it just... ended up with us just being, you know.
You had a sexual relationship with Anne Taylor.
I promised I'd never tell anyone.
All the prosecution counsel will ask her to say is that she knew you, that you knew her house, and that there was a washing line in her garden.
I put it up for her.
They might also ask Have you ever stolen a thing from her?
Has she been saying bad things about me?
Did your relationship with Miss Taylor end on good terms? Fine.
Have we got the man you want for the trial?
Yes, we've got Mr. Rylands.
And that's good, is it?
Yes, he's the best.
Do you see any particular need for these photographs to go in? There's nothing to be seen here that isn't in the pathologist's report.
No, I suppose there isn't.
Don't suppose there's any chance of Mother being kept out of things, is there?
Oh, absolutely not. Unless you're prepared to admit that the daughter left her doll at your flat.
No fear, I won't allow that either. I'll be objecting to the identification. The woman was distressed, emotional. They dumped it down on her first thing in the morning. It's like a leading question to my mind.
All right, I won't open it.
Gillingham girls are no good to you either. No. One says he touched her. The other says it was good, clean fun. The facts aren't similar enough, so you won't get it in on that count.
You've got a drink problem, haven't you?
Apparently.
There's no question of a sudden medical expert popping up to say you did it all in a daze.
Absolutely not. No, I'm temperance now, and I remember everything. I'm certain I was having a long talk with my friend. Yes. Ah, you must be Belinda Sinclair. I'm Robert Rylands. Very good to put a name to your face. You caught me fraternising with the enemy. Do you know Willis Fletcher?
Oh, I didn't know you two actually shared the same room here.
Oh, we huddled together for warmth. I'll clear out now, Robert.
Don't bother. We're going to take tea with Mr. Dunn. They're on shaky grounds with this doll.
Well, the mother identified it very firmly.
You're going to see if she could do it again.
I'm sorry?
I think Dolly may have to go on an ID parade. Get me a few similar dolls, will you?
I'll have a look in my toy cupboard.
Taxi!
You found her, didn't you? I think you should have a word with him.
Yeah. I suggest that you put in for a couple of days sick leave. You know, you're entitled to it. You've been through a very traumatic experience.
Yeah, will it go against me, Mum?
No, absolutely not. But, you know, Colin, if you're not sleeping and it's playing on your mind...
I just keep feeling it in my arms.
I think you should go and talk this through with someone from occupational health.
I won't do any good, Mum. She was so tight.
Yeah. Take some time off, Colin.
Yes, Mum.
Would it be true to say that your flat was a sort of open house where many people, including children, came and went?
Yeah.
You said in an interview that Julianne Harris had been to your flat. When was the last time she was there, before she went missing? Roughly.
I don't know, it's hard to say.
A week? Month? 2 months?
Her brother was always with her. He used to bring her with him.
That'd be Jason Harris, yeah?
Yeah. It was him wanted to come round to watch videos.
But you did say that your video had been stolen from your flat some months previously. Do you know how old Jason Harris is?
I don't know, 9 maybe. He's ahead of himself in years, that lad.
In what way?
He didn't want to watch cartoons.
And if anyone's not clear about anything at all, please just ask, okay? Right, that's it. Thanks very much indeed. The got Robert Rylance, did you know?
Yeah, and he's going to have his bloody knife out through every scrap of evidence.
Gov, I've been going through these files.
Oh, you got your knife out too?
Not exactly, but we still haven't pinned Peter James down for those missing 20 minutes.
Peter James, Peter James. We can't seem to knock this one on the head, can we?
Look, Gov, I really think we should have another go over these times before we get to court.
Okay, let's start from scratch. I'll talk to Mrs. Harris. Good call. Meg, family visit, please. You're getting to be a very persistent woman.
Just keeping you on your toes.
Yeah, and I'll be a bloody ballet dancer before this one pans out. Well done, Pat.
Yeah. Mrs. Wald, the Meals on Wheels lady's in reception. Something about Peter James.
You're still looking at a blank on the alibi, Belinda.
Well, there was a possible sighting of Terry Smith at the Simon community in Cardiff, Tiger Bear. And I've been running some ads in the big issue in London.
Oh, the last people to read that are the homeless themselves. You need someone independent to confirm that the little girl used to go to Dunn's flat, so that the fibres could have been left there at any time. At the moment, all we've got is his word for it.
Well, Michael mentioned that Jason Harris, the little girl's brother...
Keep away from the family, Belinda. It's a hornet's nest for PR. Has Rylance been over any likely cross-examination yet with Dunn?
No, we're doing that today. Well, we thought we'd better get a bit of a rapport going first.
Well, don't featherbed him. The Crown aren't going to.
Hello, Jason. Is Mummy? Mum.
Oh, sorry, I was lying down. Doctor's orders.
Sorry to bother you, Anita. It was Peter we wanted a word with.
Oh, he's not here. Don't know where he is.
Jason's still off school.
Yeah, he's got a rash on his legs. That's what it is, darling, isn't it, a rash? Do you want to go and play in the sitting room?
Any idea when Mr. James will be back, Mrs. Harris?
No. There's nothing wrong, is there?
I know. We won't keep you out of bed.
Thanks.
Oh, Mrs. Harris. What time did you say he left that lunchtime?
The day Julianne went missing, Anita.
Around 12:30.
Thank you.
I saw him come out of the flats about 1:15.
Right.
And then I delivered the lunch and left Innes at about 1:30. And I saw him again at the ice cream van.
Good. Now, this was definitely the same man that you'd seen earlier on.
Yes. You see, I didn't really get a good look at his face. But now that I have, it was definitely him, the stepfather. 1:30.
Perverts. Nothing better to do than gulp.
Yeah, and Nick stuff. He's no right even to be here. It's a hard hat area. Oi! Tosser! Oi! I'm speaking to you! Oh, sorry. It's all right. That young copper. The one who was here when they were looking for her.
Saw the old bill, didn't you?
Yeah, they came round. Well, I didn't say anything. I wasn't well.
One of them bloody watching us. So the building site's been watching us for weeks. Watching what we do. Whether he's at school.
I swear I didn't say anything. They want to talk to you.
About what?
I don't know. They just asked what time you went to look for Julie.
What time did you say?
Mrs. Harris says she sent out Peter James at 12:30. Yeah?
Paul,
Says he was parked in his ice cream van at roughly the same time.
But the Meals on Wheels woman said she saw Peter James at 1:30.
At the ice cream van.
So either she's got it wrong or the ice cream man has. Now we know Julianne was picked up at 1:05. So if Mrs. Walder's right about the time, Peter James is in the clear.
Yeah, but if Paul is telling the truth, he could still be our man.
And Mrs. Harris bears Paul out. But why would she give a time that puts her boyfriend in the frame?
Ah, she could be confused or emotional. Little Julianne had old bruises on her body. When Meg and I saw the little boy, he had what looked like strap marks on his legs. Pat, bring Peter James in first thing in the morning. Meg, go with her. Talk to the mother again. Make it nice and easy. Nothing confrontational.
It's there again.
God. Again, come on, 1 o'clock. You saw her out the window at 1. I'm in there, I'm fixing the sink. You turn the taps on me. Don't you remember none of this?
Oh, yeah.
Right, so I'm in there, I'm changing my clothes, okay? So it's 1:15 before I went out there. What time was it when I went out there?
It was well after 1. Mum.
All right, so when they come here again, that's what you're gonna tell them.
I think you should go there.
What?
Well, I said he had a rash. Well, look, I'll tidy up today. I don't feel so
Why?
bad today.
Barrage. What the hell are you doing here? What are you doing here, Barrage? You were here yesterday as well.
Well, I'm not on duty, Mum. What I did as you suggested, I took some time off. I'm fine, Mum, really. That's where I found her shoe.
Go home, Barrage. Take off the uniform and stay at home, all right? Go on.
Peter James. He's here. He's just walked in of his own accord.
Let's have a go at him.
Mrs. Harris, there is something else that I do need to talk to you about. In your original statement, you said that Mr. James went to look for Juliet around 12:30.
No, I remembered. Because the sink went wrong the other day again. And that jogged my mind, you know, about his clothes. It took him ever such a long time to get changed. And I remember because I went in and I said, can't you find anything? Hurry up and get the kids in. Jason, go to your room. Go on.
Oh, there was one other thing, Mrs. Harris. From your balcony, can you see the ice cream then?
No.
No, but you can hear it, yeah?
Well, yeah, so can all the kids.
Do you remember hearing it on that Thursday, when Peter went out to look for Julianne?
No. It's not important, is it?
No, not at all. Thank you very much indeed for your time, Mrs. Harris.
I don't think I believe that, Mr. James. Perhaps you and Mrs. Harris had a chat about it.
Well, no, I ain't, mate. I'll tell you something, we have chatted about the fact. Can't even bury her.
I'm deeply sorry about that. That is completely out with my control. And at this moment, D, I know if it's explaining that to Mrs. Harris.
Explain it, yeah, explain it to her, yeah. Noah's explaining it to me. You don't think this affects me? Well, let me tell you something, it does, mate. I bathed her. I took her to school. I told her a bedtime story. sons of bitches trying to turn it all round, twist it, make it sick.
So, are you denying you disciplined your children, Peter?
What's this?
And your role as stepfather, Peter? You deny you physically disciplined your children?
No, I have!
That's good, Peter, because you've hit your children, haven't you? In fact, you've hit them more than once!
Yes! Yes, so she... What, you charging me? I came down here, no one brought me down here. I came here on my own. What are you trying on? Look, I swear before God, I never done nothing wrong.
Okay, take me through it again, Peter. What time did you go looking for Julianne?
What time I go looking for Julie, right? I'll tell you what time. It was 1 o'clock. I was in the flat fixing the sink, and Anita told me to get the kids in. She turned the tap on me by accident. She soaked me, so I went and changed my clothes, and I didn't go downstairs for another 15, 20 minutes.
That's not what Mrs. Harris says in her statement.
She don't know, does she? She's confused. She knows. She understands now. She's calmed down. Listen to me. It was well after 1. It was well after 1.
Great. Thank you, Mr. James.
I just want to get it straight.
That is exactly what I'm trying to do, Mr. James.
Mrs. Harris's new version of events. Now, I've also double-checked with some of the residents. They can't actually remember that Thursday, but they say that Paul's van's always parked just when he says it was. 12:30.
Yeah, but Peter James says he left the flat.
Just after 1 o'clock.
Fixing the sink. Changing his clothes.
Word for word.
She's covering for him, isn't she?
Which was shish kebab. Yeah. You all right, darling?
Jason, go to your room.
I've got kebabs.
Do as I tell you.
Go on, carry on.
I found her doll.
You what?
Swapped their mattresses over today and I found Julie's doll.
And did you give it to the police? Where is it, Nita? I'm telling you over about that shit I'm gonna take this morning. If that bastard gets off, they're gonna come for me. You know that, and I never touched a hair on her head. I never touched her. You touched her, you bitch! What did you think you were doing? I love Julie.
Stop! Please stop!
I loved her.
Please stop!
I never touched her!
You gotta give a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little. That's the story of, that's the glory of love. You gotta laugh.
The special edition Micro Passion with sunroof, airbag, metallic paint and Nissan's unique 3-2-1 offer. You'd better ask before you borrow it.
That's the story of, that's the glory of love.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you. Getting to like you, getting to hope you like me. Haven't you noticed? Suddenly I'm bright and breezy. You are precisely my cup of tea.
The better we know you, the more we can do for you. We're Cable & Wireless, Britain's newest telephone and cable TV company. Join in our national customer survey and tell us what we can do for you.
Learning about you.
Oh, yes! For once in my life, I have someone who needs me, someone I've needed so long. For once, unafraid, I can go where life leads me, and somehow I know I'll be strong. For once, I can say, this is mine, you can't take it. Long as I know I've got love, I can make it. For once in my life, I've got someone who needs me.
Whatever your company, remember that letters build business, because everyone responds to a letter.
British Gas proudly announces a new pipeline. Because next year, we will be supplying not only gas, but also electricity, which could bring savings on your electricity bill and all the reassurance that comes with British Gas. British Gas, the home of energy.
Every time you prepare food, you may be causing germs to breed on your sponge. You can't see them, but they're growing and spreading. Now you can stop them with New Blue Fairy, the only washing up liquid with antibacterial agents. Leave a squirt on your sponge for antibacterial protection and peace of mind. Of course, it's just as tough on grease as traditional Fairy, and it leaves all your dishes brilliantly clean. New Blue Fairy, as tough on germs as it is on grease.
When your clothes feel good, you feel good. New Comfort Vitality has an invigorating fragrance. It puts bounce into fabrics, making everything feel soft and revitalized. New Vitality brings you and your clothes to life.
And I'm afraid we didn't get what we'd hoped for from the Gillingham interviews.
I have a responsibility not to waste public money on a case which is going to fold up. I have to tell you, I come to the view that we should offer no evidence.
Dunn still hasn't come up with his alibi witness. I think there's a very good chance we'll be able to show he served a false notice of alibi.
Well, that would be a help. I'll take that into consideration when making my decision.
Well, there's something else you should take into consideration. I'm sure CPS doesn't want another sensitive national case dropped through lack of evidence, leaving the grieving family to drag a private prosecution through the courts. Sometimes it's important to try a case. Sometimes it should be seen to be tried.
I execute policy. I don't play politics. I'll let you know my decision, Superintendent.
He won't have the balls to drop it.
Well, you're going to need yours. That crack at CPS didn't go down well at all.
I still put my money on Dunn.
What about Peter James?
No. I don't like him, but I don't think he's a killer. Get Satchel to have another go at the ice cream seller. Talk to his boss this time. Now, if he's lying...
If he's lying, then that puts Peter James in the clear.
You've named two men and a woman as alibi witnesses. The men can't be found and the woman's never heard of you. How did that happen, Mr. Dunn?
I don't know. I was confused. I can't remember.
Because if you weren't with those people, then it's possible it was you whom Mrs. Marsh saw from her window. You who took a little girl by the hand and led her to your flat, isn't it?
There never was a little girl in my flat on that day.
If you can't recall any specific day or date when Julianne was in your flat, how can you be so sure she wasn't there on September the 5th?
She used to come round all the time. Ask her brother, ask Jason.
That's all right, Michael. Just remember, it's in their interest to try and make you lose control, so just answer their questions and keep your cool. Leave it there, shall we? See you again before the trial.
I'll call you tomorrow, Michael.
Oi, dickhead. I've got a word with you up in the office.
Cars have arrived. Yeah, we better get going.
Right.
Yes, nice.
I was scared. I thought I'd lose my job. He's a right bastard, and I'd already had one warning. And I didn't think it would matter. Half an hour, like.
What?
I didn't get to the Howard estate until gone one on the day the little girl was murdered. Oh, shit! I knew this would all come out the moment he called me into the yard. Listen, I've been shagging the boss's wife. She used to give me a few quid to cover for any ices I might have sold. But he knows now, because I told him. I got the boot. So I thought I might as well come clean.
I hope you understand how serious giving a false statement is, Mr. Paul.
Good turnout, isn't it?
Mrs. Marsh.
Well, I'm glad to see she's still on her legs. We don't want her pegging out on us, do we?
Ice cream seller lied about the times. He didn't get to the Howard estate till gone one, which puts Peter James in the clear.
Yes. That means CPS can't pull the case.
And Dunn still doesn't have an alibi.
Are you looking for me, miss? My name's Terry Smith.
I am the resurrection and the life, said the Lord. He who dies and believes in me, so shall he live. And whoever lives and believes in me will never die. Let us now rise and sing hymn number 425.
We started off in the park, then went to the chippy, then back to the park again.
Oh, Derek, do come in. So, Mr. Smith, you read our advertisement in the big issue, and you remember spending the whole day with Michael Dunn. But how can you be certain it was that particular Thursday?
Well, Bellingham by-election, 5th of September. Bloody Spartacus knocked our bloke out.
I am convinced, says the Apostle Paul, that neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything that is in all creation, will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Jesus Christ, our Lord. Almighty God, Father of all mercies and giver of all comfort, deal graciously, we pray thee, with those who mourn, that casting every care on thee, they may know the consolation of thy love, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. And Jesus said, "Let the children come to me, but do not hinder them, for to such belongs the kingdom of God. Truly I say to you, whoever does not receive the kingdom of God, like a little child, shall not enter it." Lord Jesus Christ, who didst take little children into thine arms and bless them, open thou our eyes, we beseech thee.
Get out of the way! Get out!
Receive that in
Stop the
thy
car!
goodness thou hast taken thy child to the everlasting arms.
Stop the car!
I have some wonderful news for you. We've got your alibi.
Thank you, Lord.
Piss off! Piss off! Nita! Nate! Just get back! Get back! Nita! Nate!
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Oh, baby.
Trial and Retribution continues after news at 10.
Yeah. The day after, the police came around. They had it. You know, I said it was hers.
We found that doll.
Thank you, Mrs. Harris.
Your witness, Mr. Rylands. Mrs. Harris, you last saw the doll you just mentioned. First thing on a Sunday morning? The day after you learned of your daughter's death. The police came round and woke you up, is that right?
Yes.
And you feel sure you didn't make a mistake? You didn't confuse one mass-produced doll manufactured by the thousand for another?
Yes, I do.
Could you perhaps help us, Mrs. Harris, by picking out Julianne's doll for us now?
It's a long time ago.
Oh, I appreciate that, Mrs. Harris.
think it was that one.
Thank you, Mrs. Harris. You may return to the witness stand.
My Lord, could the doll which Mrs. Harris has just identified become exhibit number 6, not exhibit number 4, the doll which the police found in Michael Dunn's flat?
We've lost our ID on the doll.
How come?
Oh, usual Ryland's theatricals. What's the news with Barrage?
Nah, he did it all right. We'll have to get the trial stopped.
Have you seen similar injuries in other cases, Dr. Foster?
Yes, I have. I've seen similar injuries which were established to have been caused by a bottle, and I would say that could well be the case here.
Thank you, Dr. Foster.
One of my constables planted the washing
Mr. Rylands, your witness.
Mr. Fletcher, Walker's just on me.
Mr. Fletcher,
one of the young
if
constables.
you have any further questions for this witness, now is the time to say so, if you do.
My lord, may I have a moment?
Would you like to stand down, Dr. Foster?
What was his name?
Colin Barrage. He actually found her.
Robert. Don't be a young... Could I ask my lord to rise? A matter has arisen.
You'll have to make a clean breast of your rope trick, Fletcher, and live with it, I'm afraid. The jury, of course, may take a dim view.
I opened it to them.
You've said practically nothing about it. I'll object if you try to get them discharged.
Do you want me to tender the boy for cross-examination?
Poor bastard's lost his marbles, hasn't he? I don't mind if we leave him out. I'll draft a suitably damning admission, which you'll be happy to make. We'd better go and see Winfield. And, in the circumstances, I think we'll have woman with rope, brackets, not manufactured by basket-weaving policeman, down here, shall we?
If you mean Miss Taylor, I'll call her in the morning. Did Michael Dunn come to do odd jobs for you in your house?
Yes.
What sort of thing did he do?
He did different things 6 or 7 times. He put up my washing line.
Could you describe this washing line for us, please?
It was blue and red. I bought it in the local shop.
And when was that? When was that, Miss Taylor?
Quite a while ago. A few months ago. I didn't see him again for quite a while. In fact, I didn't see him at all.
She's making heavy weather of all this.
And what happened to this length of line subsequently?
It was stolen. Towards the end of August, I think.
You don't suppose that they were...
Of course they bloody were.
Thank you, Miss Taylor.
I don't like the way he treats people. I told you I didn't like the way he spoke to that old woman. He got her all upset. And don't give me that planks crap. He shouldn't have asked Anne, Miss Taylor.
Michael, just calm down.
No, you lied to me. You said he was just going to ask if I worked with Anne, not the other things.
It wasn't Mr. Rylands who asked those questions. It was Mr. Fletcher, the prosecuting counsel.
She was nice to me, she was. She was a friend to me. I won't have it. You tell him when he can shove his planks. He shouldn't have upset her. You tell him I won't have any more of it. Do you hear me?
Mr. Rylands is conducting your defense in the way he thinks best to secure your acquittal.
I felt so sorry for him. But he told me what a terrible life he'd had. What had been done to him. Just a little boy when it first started. 6 years old. He said the only kindness he'd ever known was when this family fostered him. But they sent him back. That's why I never reported it. But I knew it was him that took the washing line. He took the sherry too.
What makes you so sure, Anne?
My mother didn't approve of drinking, and I kept some hidden outside. He was the only person who knew where it was.
Winfield will turn down a submission. Our friend's been identified, but...
We might have a problem. Michael's got upset about Anne Taylor. He doesn't want to give evidence.
Fine, we won't call him. Oh, but we shouldn't call any evidence of a defense. We don't have to. Their ID's worth virtually nothing. Their doll's been thrown out of the window. We can explain all their forensic evidence by innocent contact, plus they've had to admit police shenanigans. What jury's going to convict them on that, huh?
Well, we'll incur the adverse inference if he doesn't go on.
They'll be doing us just as much damage if he does. They'll be dragging him over those 2 alibi witnesses he couldn't find. Now, leave him alone.
I don't agree. Since they're trying to show a false alibi, we can show a true one. I think I'd rather carry on according to plan. Belt and braces, and all that.
Well, Derek, you're instructing me, but you're courting a risk here. That's my considered view.
I can't agree with you, Robert. I think they want to hear Michael Dunn deny it from his own lips.
Very well, Derek, as you wish. I call the defendant, Michael Dunn.
Step down, Mr. Dunn.
Take the book in your right hand and read the words on the card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
What were you doing during the day of September the 5th? That's the day before you were arrested by the police.
I was drinking in the park with a friend of mine, Terry Smith.
Yes, which park was that?
Princess Elizabeth, by the estate.
Were you alone, the 2 of you, or was anyone else with you?
No, there was another man. I can never remember his name.
How long were you there, the 3 of you?
All day. From 11 in the morning till early evening.
What did you do?
Drank, mainly. And talked. Politics.
How much did you drink?
Quite a lot. Lager and vodka. I wasn't drunk, though. I can remember most of it quite well now.
Did you leave Terry Smith and the other man at any time between 11 and the evening?
No. We got some chips and some drink, and we left together.
Did you know the little girl who was murdered, Julianne Harris?
Yes, I did. Well, I didn't exactly know her. I knew her brother, and he brought her onto the flat quite a few times.
It was a common occurrence for you to have children playing in your flat?
Yes. There was kids there all the time. I used to leave my door open. I didn't care who was there when I was drinking.
Did you see Julianne Harris at any time, even for a few moments, on September the 5th, Mr. Dunn?
No, sir, I didn't.
You didn't, for example, at any time see her in the playground? Or bend down to speak to her? Or take her hand?
No, sir.
I never saw her at all that day.
Would you take a look at a child's doll for us? It's been identified as Exhibit 4 in this case. You recognize that doll?
Yes, sir. I had it in my flat.
No, don't bother to dry them. I'll put them in the wash
You
bag
get one
for
of the
tomorrow.
rubber sheets, I told you, get one. Now, you've thought about this. This is every night now. It's going to be better for him, isn't it?
Oh, you'd know, would you? I talked to Mum, she can't have him.
Look, I'm just thinking about you and I. You need some rest. There are special homes for kids like Jason.
I don't want to talk about it.
Right.
Just for a bit.
Yeah.
Not forever.
Of course not. Just do get yourself better along.
Yeah. I'll call them in the morning.
I've never said anything that isn't true. I was with Terry Smith all day.
That's not right, is it, Mr. Dunn? Hmm? You were not with Terry Smith for all that time. And you did see Julianne Harris on that day.
I didn't, sir. I
You
never
saw
saw
her
her.
at the playground. And you took her back to your flat.
That's not true.
There you assaulted her, sexually. And then you took a rope, which you had previously stolen from a lady acquaintance.
No, that's rubbish. I'd never steal anything from Anne. I'm sorry, Miss Taylor. I mean, I worked for her. She trusted me. She knew I was someone she could trust.
You placed that rope around Julianne Harris's neck and you strangled her.
No, I didn't. I never saw her.
You took her unconscious body and you rammed it into a pipe like a bundle of rags. Didn't you? Didn't you?
Date 1. Thursday, the... Könntet ihr bitte mit diesem Kran aufhören? 3rd of April. Pump adjustable seat completed.
Fan-shaped water jets, which reduce water consumption, and therefore the water bottles can be smaller, which helps to reduce the weight of the car.
Car insurance has gone up. Better get down to my broker. He'll give me a good deal.
People who switch from a broker to Direct Line could save 15%.
But he helps me with all the forms.
We do it over the phone.
And he gives me a cover note.
We'll cover you immediately.
Yeah. But what if I have an I'll still have to deal with all the insurance companies.
We do that.
And all those estimates.
No, we do that. And all our repairs have a 3-year guarantee. And we'll pick up your car and deliver it back to you.
And you can still save me 15%.
By cutting out the middleman. Looks like you've missed the bus. So for easy low-cost motor insurance, better talk direct to Direct Line.
I want to move banks, but I don't want to spend forever waiting for my new checkbook, card and PIN number to turn up.
Why do they always look so tense?
why do they let that phone ring and ring?
And why do they think it's a good idea to charge people for talking to them?
Why not change the way we work? A BT 0800 number tells your customers you really want to hear from them, and we can help make sure you never miss a call. Try 0800 for 3 months for only £25 plus call charges.
I'm Simon Woodruff, and what I do is Yo Sushi. Technology for us is about learning our own business. Nobody in their right mind would open a restaurant if you look at the figures. We have to find a new supplier for seaweed. Just a very quickly seared tuna. I don't actually come from a restaurant background. I come with an open mind.
Jerry Smith. I want to ask you about September the 5th. Do you remember that day?
Yes, I do, sir.
Did you have a lot to drink on September the 5th?
Well, pretty much the usual. I had 4 cans of lager, then 3 more, a half bottle of vermouth, and then some vodka.
But that wasn't an unusual amount for you. I mean, you feel that your perceptions and recollections of that day were more or less normal?
Yes, they were. I had a tolerance for drink then, you understand?
Who were you with on September the 5th?
I was with Michael Dunn. And I think that bloke was there too.
Mr. Smith, let us just be clear here about your evidence. You say that man was with you as well as Michael Dunn?
Yes, Your Honour.
So the man you see here in court is not the man you have referred to up to now as Michael Dunn?
No, Your Honour. Michael Dunn was the other one. At least that was my understanding. But that bloke was there as well. I remember him. He's Welsh. We were in the park just by the gents.
Yeah, but perhaps it doesn't really matter, Mr. Smith, by what name the defendant was known to you if your evidence of his presence is the same.
Yes, if it is the same. Was that man also with you continuously all day?
Near enough, sir. He went off a couple of times when we ran out of drink. He brought us back the sherry, as I recall. I remember particularly because the bottle was blue.
What did Aunt Taylor say?
Dunn took a bottle of sherry.
Do you have a clear recollection of how long he was absent for?
Oh, not long. Half an hour. 40 minutes each time. Round about lunchtime.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask this witness?
No, thank you, Madam.
Mr. Smith, do you recall what became of the bottle of sherry?
Yes, I do, as it happens. It got bust before we ever touched a drop.
Thank you, my lord.
No, that's the last of our evidence.
Okay. Lord, that concludes our case.
Perhaps this would be a suitable time to break for lunch, if we resume at 2:05.
I'm never going to find anything here. It's been months.
No, but I'm going to have a damn good try. Go through that lot.
Right.
Okay. Nobody's cleaned up here in years. Good.
Oh, Jesus, it stinks here. Why don't they use the loo?
Not open all the time.
Yeah. Ann Taylor's bottle of sherry was blue. She can't remember the make.
Okay.
Michael Dunn was not continuously with Mr. Smith all day. He absented himself for 2 separate periods. Now, when did Mrs. Marsh, if you accept her evidence, see the defendant? At lunchtime. And when did he absent himself from Mr. Smith and the other man?
at lunchtime. If you accept the evidence of Mrs. Marsh and Mr. Smith, Michael Dunn has not only lied to police, as was admitted, you will remember what he said about the doll, but he has also lied here, today, on oath, in front of you. Now, you must ask yourselves what motives Michael Dunn might have for telling lies.
That looks like blue to me.
Reg, get that in a bag. Get it over to the lab. Now, what we want's the rest of that.
A jigsaw puzzle often has a few pieces missing. But as I said at the outset, the overall picture can be clearly distinguished. A clear picture has, I believe, emerged from the evidence that you have heard in this case. And it points conclusively to Michael Dunn's guilt.
Any fingerprints?
Well, they found nothing on that.
I reckon that we could do with 48 hours.
Not a chance I'm getting 48 hours. I'll try for a day or see.
Right.
My lord, I wonder if I might ask for a day. Some portions of a blue bottle have been discovered, and there is at least the possibility that this might be the bottle mentioned by Mr. Smith in his evidence. There is the further possibility that this was the bottle used to assault Julianne Harris.
Mr. Fletcher, what exactly are you asking me for?
A day's adjournment, my lord, for the police to carry out further investigation.
I'm sorry, Mr. Fletcher. I imagine a person addicted to alcohol may handle a great many bottles in any one day. I can't see any real justification in delaying the trial at this stage. Ask the jury to come back in.
Pause, I feel, for a rather abbreviated closing speech. Coup de grace, I think.
Come on, guys. Let's keep moving, huh?
They wouldn't adjourn. Rylands is closing now.
How long have we got?
Well, till lunchtime at least, maybe even till tomorrow. Rylands had listened to himself all day.
Great. I said I would be brief. I hope I have been. You may feel that, far from having been presented with what a learned friend calls a clear evidential picture, you've been presented with a ragbag of unrelated fragments. And you may feel that the full truth has not been heard from anyone in this case. Jurors, I'm sorry to have to tell you, very often do. But you must bear in mind that Michael Dunn is not charged with telling untruths. He's charged with murdering a little girl. You may not believe every word he said. That every word of his story is true. But you must not, without more, much more, convict him. Because Michael Dunn has to prove nothing. It's for the prosecution to satisfy you beyond any reasonable doubt that Michael Dunn murdered Julianne Harris. The evidence you've heard, you may feel, falls far short of that. So far short that the only verdict open to you in good conscience is one of not guilty.
That's it. That's bloody it.
Burn it.
Best we get rid of it when they get her, innit? Always big mouths like. Oh, get out!
Look, they'll be here any minute.
Get
Jackson,
out!
get your bag. Oh!
Right.
Yeah.
The prosecution say that it was Julianne Harris's doll. You may think it curious, therefore, that her fingerprints were not found on it. And what is more, Mrs. Harris was unable to identify this doll when shown others of a similar kind. As to the evidence of identification, I must warn you of the special need for caution in convicting a defendant solely in reliance upon an identification which is challenged, and that you must consider very carefully the difficult circumstances in which this identification was made. You must also consider whether there is other evidence which supports this identification. And that support may come from lies, if you find there were lies told which are relevant in the way that I've outlined to you, or from a number of pieces of circumstantial evidence, each innocuous on its own, but which taken together tend to show that the defendant committed the crime. You should adopt a common sense approach to this. Finally, you should bear in mind that it has been formally admitted that a piece of evidence in this case was manufactured by an officer who had clearly become unbalanced. It is for you to determine what effect this very serious irregularity had on the Crown's evidence as a whole.
It's blood. Lad, get me through to the Crown Court. They have to adjourn now. We can't try him twice.
I shall not myself speak to them, nor suffer any other person to speak to them, save to ask them if they have reached their verdict.
I shall now ask you to retire and consider your verdict.
Same blood group, AB negative.
The jury have gone out. We're too late.
Sometimes the longer they take, the better.
But will they acquit?
I sincerely hope so.
Could I? Let you know how I'm getting on? Afterwards?
Yes, of course. You know the office address.
But you might leave. Get married or something. I'm ready now.
Michael Dunn, court 4. Court 4.
Would the foreman please stand? Madam Foreman, answer this question yes or no. Members of the jury, have you reached a verdict upon which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty of murder?
Guilty.
You find the defendant guilty, and that is the verdict of you all?
Yes, it is.
Stand up, please, Mr. Dunn. Michael Dunn, as I'm sure you know, you have been convicted of an offense for which the sentence is fixed by law. There is only one sentence I can pass, and I sentence you accordingly to life imprisonment. In this case, I recommend that the minimum sentence to be served should be no less than 20 years. Take him down.
We've got the bottle. Dan's fingerprints and Julie's blood.
It's Dewey.
New evidence has apparently been found by the police.
I didn't do it. I swear I didn't do it.
Yes, you did, Michael. Yes, you did.
Thanks.
Next week at 10:40, Nash Bridges.